What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a look at Clair Obscur Expedition 33 here on the Steam Deck, and this is definitely one of my more anticipated games, especially for the first half of this year, and I've been having a lot of fun playing through this one. It's a great story with some really great gameplay with the turn-based but also the interactivity of it, and so I want to take a look at performance here and what you can expect if you're going to jump into this game on your Steam Deck. But it's been largely playable on all the different handhelds that I've been testing it on, which is nice to see. It's not perfect, it has issues, but it is running. You have to use XeSS here, probably anti-aliasing or Ultra Quality Plus, and there's no other settings here. This is it. We can't get to any other graphic settings are locked out, and we are locked onto VSync as well. So we have very limited options here. You're mostly playing around with your upscaling. Now, if we're at 800p XeSS anti-aliasing here, which is 100% XeSS, no upscaling happening, just anti-aliasing, it's going to be the best image quality, but you do wind up under 30 FPS quite often and in the teens at times. And even though it recovers, it just gets very difficult to run. So image quality, yes, is the best here without the upscaling, but it really does hurt the FPS a lot, especially in combat and stuff like that. So it's up to you how you want to run that. Now, I found the Ultra Quality Plus was worth it. It didn't kill the image quality that much on the smaller screen on the Steam Deck, and I was able to gain about 6, 7, sometimes 8 FPS over what I was getting with just the anti-aliasing, which gave me just enough overhead to basically stay above 30 most of the time in a lot of my playing. Now, going to ultra quality here, we're not going to get as much of a performance jump. We'll gain a couple of more FPS. You do start to lose more image quality and get more ghosting and issues like that, though, so it might not really be worth it to go beyond where we already were. Switching this down to quality, just to show you what happens here, it's not going to gain us that much either on FPS, and what will happen as we go from quality and into balanced is we start to get a less even frame timeline as we take more pressure off the GPU by doing more upscaling. So it's not always great to do that. Sometimes there's a balance to it. If we actually go to balanced here, you'll see it gets even worse for the frame times, and I get a lot more stutter in gameplay, and you only gain a few more FPS. So that's why I think really, since this game is more turn-based and I'm not worried about high FPS, I would pretty much be sticking with that Ultra Quality Plus mode or the 100% anti-aliasing mode, whichever one you want to deal with and prefer there. Other than that, just adjust things how you want to there. So this is the performance we can expect with that XeSS Ultra Quality Plus. 4 gigs of VRAM set in our BIOS on our Steam Deck here, and just kind of moving around this zoomed out open world area, which you tend to have these exploration areas where you have combat as well, and also interior instance areas, which we'll look at as well. Now we'll jump into a little bit of combat out here and take a look at the performance here, because it's usually a little bit different from this open world area versus when you're inside the instance area. So we'll take a look at this here as we jump in. Now the nice thing here is my couple hours on the Steam Deck, I haven't had any crashes or major issues. There's some graphical bugs and brightness bugs and things that'll happen from time to time that you might have to deal with, and you'll probably see those throughout the video a little bit, but other than that, no major complaints. And you can see here with this performance, we hit 27, 28 FPS from time to time, but most of the time it's trying to stay above 30. I would recommend just locking it to 30 FPS ultimately, but I wanted to leave it open here so we could see what the performance was doing. Now, moving inside, though, away from that zoomed out open world, you often are getting much better performance, whether it's through the exploration or through the combat or whatever. This is actually pretty surprising performance on the Steam Deck here. Even just going a not very busy area, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so clean. It's really not too bad, and the game looks great here. Now, fading into cutscenes, these will come down to 30 FPS, but I believe these are still rendered and not pre-recorded cutscenes on my MSI Claw. And that video I had worked on, the frame rate was not capped at 30 FPS if I remember correctly. But yeah, ultimately that's what you can expect there. They get a little janky and stuttery, but for the most part they work out fine coming in and out of the cutscenes, and there's no real gameplay involved there anyway. It's fine on the smaller screen, image quality wise as well. Now the good thing too is getting into more combat where there's more dodging and parrying and stuff, which I have a lot more to learn about the moves and combat and different things and timing, but I wasn't having too much trouble pulling off those kinds of dodges or attacks or parries and things like that on the Steam Deck, or really any of the handhelds that I've played the game on, which is nice to see. So while it's not perfect and there is some janky performance, the visuals aren't always perfect if you got to use some upscaling, there's at least a little bit of wiggle room here for you to adjust the game I think it's fairly safe to say this is a playable title on the Steam Deck. Lock it to 30 FPS if you want to adjust things a little bit, unless it gets really bad later on as I get into other levels and things like that, where you know that can happen in games where certain areas just run a lot worse, which I will make another video if that happens. But this is what I've been getting so far in a couple hours I've put in, and what you can expect at least for this part of the game. So anyways guys, as always, thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.